Apple Arcade released for iOS. I think it's only iPhones as of today. I don't think it's out on iPad or Macs or Apple TV quite yet, but it's out on iPhones today, and so are the new iPhones. As a side note, which I mean, fuck it. Our Arcade Couch is more than a games podcast. I got the new iPhone 11 Pro. 11. I've managed to play with it for 10 minutes. It's an iPhone. I like it. There you go.
Does the 3 cameras make a difference?
I don't know. I'll show you. Are you getting? Does it look weird? Does it look like a spider?
It does look like a spider.
It does look like a fucking spider. Yeah, no, I took some quick photos.
Spider phone.
Took some quick photos around the house before. The wide angle one is probably a game changer. I'm looking forward to having that when I've got 2 Melbourne trips coming up within the next couple of weeks. So I'm glad that I have this because I'm going to hopefully take some cool pics. That's my iPhone review. Anyway, all right, so Apple Arcade, right? Not Arcade Couch. Apple Arcade. I booted up on my old iPhone this morning before my new one arrives in the mail. I fucking update the iOS 13. I download all the games, and I've dived into a couple, not all of them, because I did have work today and I didn't have time. But I'll say this: I'm gonna put it out there. This is my hot take. Now I don't know. I posted this on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, but I'll get your thoughts anyway. My hot take: Apple Arcade's launch is better than the PS4, Xbox One, or Nintendo Switch launch. Is that a hot take? Or as the kids call them, opinions?
Well, probably. You're like 1 day into it, so it's hard to say.
But just looking at the game library.
From a pure volume sense.
I'm just talking about the quality of what I've seen so far, right? I'm taking into account...
What have you seen so far?
I'm taking into account what I've played and also the general review consensus for some of these games. Is what I'm taking into account. Okay. So there's some games I haven't played, but are reviewing quite highly. So I'm taking that into account as well. As here's a service that comes out. There's fucking 70 games, I think, now available on this service. Just in case you don't know, for some reason, if you I don't know how you would know. Apple Arcade, 1 month free. And then after that, it's $7.99 Australian a month, and you get access to a library of games. It's like Xbox Game Pass, but it's for your Apple devices. Well, at the moment, it's only for iPhone. I think iPad's out in a couple of days, and then a couple of days after, I think they'll roll it out to your Macs. A couple of days after they roll it out to which makes sense. It's like a staggered release, I guess. So they make sure nothing breaks. But so 70 fucking games. I download them all. The one that I've spent the most time with so far, so I can talk about the ones I've actually played, because that's a short list. I'll get that out of the way. So I've played What the Golf a fair bit. I've probably played an hour or so of What the Golf. And I'm really enjoying What the Golf because it's quite fucking funny. You've probably seen the trailer for this, even if you don't remember it. It was definitely shown during a Nintendo Switch Direct or something along those lines. Kind of funny thing, potentially, as well. That would make sense, I guess. So What the Golf is a game that starts off kind of like you think it's a normal golf game, and because I'm playing this on my phone, I'm controlling it with my finger, and it works quite well with touch controls because all it is you kind of hold the screen, you drag back for your power, you let go, and you hit a golf ball. That's the first level. Next minute, you're fucking golfing with chairs, cars, fucking whole heap of objects. And I'm going to say this. I don't know, because from all of the trailers I've watched, they haven't shown as much as I've seen. And shit gets crazy. I've laughed out loud several times playing this game simply by the level loading in. And I've kind of looked at the objects that's on screen, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what I'm fucking golfing with. And also, if you like puns, all right, so Simon Blackburn over at, we're talking about Apple stuff, right? Go listen to Take My Tone or fucking Apple Arcade, Apple Couch, Arcouch, Apple Slice Couch, Apple Pouch, Apple Pouch,
Apple Coasters.
Apple Coasters, all of those podcasts. He loves puns. This game, What the Golf, full of puns. Every time you fucking hit something into I don't want to spoil it because it involves the objects you hit in, but then also the game rips off a bunch of other really famous phone games, and it turns those into levels. Quite funny. I'm having a great time. What the Golf is fantastic. I would not want to play it on anything other than my phone. It's available on other things other than my phone, but it works fucking perfectly on my phone. I don't know why I wouldn't want to play it on I don't want to play this with a fucking controller or a mouse. It works. It's working great on my phone. So the other thing I tried out was the one Sayonara Wild Hearts, right? So this one's been kind of taking the internet a bit by storm. You know, everyone's loving this game. Everyone's loving this game. It's and for good reason, right? So I only played 10 to 15 minutes. I played like the first couple levels. The levels are short. The levels are like music videos. Because how this game works, and it starts very simple. It starts very, very simple. You just move from lane to lane. And I started playing it with touchscreen controls on my phone, which meant that all I did was drag my finger back and forth across the screen, left to right, to move my character across the screen, and all I'm trying to do is make sure they pick up the hearts and stuff like that. And that was the first level. And then I was like, wait, I don't really like these touchscreen controls for this because I'm having to touch the screen so much that I feel like my hand's getting in the way of me being able to enjoy the visuals, if you know what I mean. Like, because I have my hand covering up half the screen. And I was like, but wait, I can hook up any controller to this. This is part of the deal. How hard is it to hook up my PlayStation controller to this? It took me 10 seconds. It's a fucking breeze. It's a miracle. So here's my little bit tidbit. If you've got a PlayStation controller, all you do, I'm holding up my special classic PS1 Classic controller. All you do to sync it up, so you go into your iPhone, you turn on Bluetooth, obviously. You hold down the share button and the PlayStation Home button. You hold those down for a couple seconds. Eventually, the touch bar light thing will blink like real fast for a couple seconds, and that means it's searching for a device. And then when you've got your Bluetooth searching thing open on your iPad, iPhone, what have you, you'll see DualShock controller appear, and you click on it, synced, done. I jump back into the game, off I go. I'm playing with a DualShock now. Technology, what a way to feature it. So I played the next few levels of Sayonara Wild Hearts with my DualShock 4. I much enjoyed playing the game this way, better playing it with a DualShock. Man, I can enjoy the visuals, and the visuals are quite beautiful. It's a very neon colored game, lots of stuff going on. But also, as I got several further levels in, when things started to get a little bit more complicated, I was really glad that I was actually having a DualShock, because after the first level, which is you can't die, you're just like moving your character across. You're like, okay, cool, so very chill out game. No, I got up to the first boss fight. That's when Sayonara Wild Hearts introduces you to the crazy sort of shit it's going to do. You're moving left and right, but now you're in like streets, and if you hit a wall, you will die. And by die, it can't just restart you, like not the start level, but like that section of the song kind of thing. Fair enough. And it also then introduces kind of Q2Es. Like, you don't have to get them perfect to win, but like these little icons appear on the screen, and it's like blink, 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 like it's loading in, and then you have to press X, or if you was using touchscreen controls, it would have just been like tap the screen directly at the same point, and that means your character was like dodging bullets because there's another person on the bike like chasing after you, but then it's like doing crazy things where the camera's like swinging around to perspective of the bad guy character, but you're still controlling your character, and the first time I didn't even realize. And then you have to like dodge bullets that way. There's other times where I had to like mash the X button because it was like a full-on QTE event. So this is only a few levels in, and it's slowly like building the mechanics of the game up. So I presume the further I'm going to get in, the more intense it's all going to get. I was playing it with headphones on. 100% playing it with headphones on because the music is really great. I can't imagine not playing it with headphones on. But this is the one game. This isn't a dig against Apple Arcade as a service. I think this is good. I like how I have choice, or we're going to have choice. I started playing this on my phone. I don't want to play it on my phone anymore. I would like to continue playing Sayonara Wild Hearts on a bigger screen, either my MacBook or on my TV via my Apple TV. Whatever. One of those objects is where I'd like to continue playing the game, because it's just a very fast-paced, visually exciting and stunning game to look at. And as much as it's like, if the only thing you have is an iPhone to play it on, sure, but I have choices, and I would like to continue playing it elsewhere. But I kind of like how you have the option to play it wherever and sync up your saves and do whatever you need to do along the service here. And I presume that's going to kind of kind of be a running factor for different types of games. You know, certain types of games, of course, you may prefer to play on your phone. Certain types of games work perfectly on your phone. Some games, I think, obviously, it's not a shit against like saying, oh, there's shitty mobile games are better on your phone. No, some games you just want to play on a bigger screen because they're going to suit it better. I don't think there's anything crazy about that. So the other ones I was going to say was that Mutazone thing, Mutazone or whatever you call it, that thing's been getting quite highly reviewed. That's also available on PC and whatever, but it's still part of the launch lineup of Apple Arcade. That game's been getting 8s to 10s, right? Metacritic's quite high. I'm looking forward to playing that. That's another launch thing here. Jenny LeCoultre has been getting decent. I haven't seen any reviews because it kind of just came out today, but general consensus I've seen from looking around Twitter, looking great. I love the trailer we saw for that back in the day. I think that was during the Kind of Funny showcase as well. I'm really looking forward to playing that, but that's something I want to play with like all of my attention given to it because it's more of a story-based thing, obviously. So I wasn't really picking that up, and because What the Golf, I was just pulling out at random times, doing a level or so or whatever. But it's funny. I can do this, whatever. But then, you know, I was reading some good stuff about that one I was talking about last week with a really fucking weird name that I can't remember much about, the underwater Metroidvania type, you know that one? I can't remember. Horrible name, but we talked about it last week. I've heard some really good stuff about that. People saying that's really actually quite good, as bad as the name is. Frogger is apparently good. If you like Frogger, great. I still don't think it's really like. I still don't think they should have used that as a game to show off during their live thing. I think that was a weird thing. But at the same time, I guess they were using it because they were appealing to like people who aren't actually gamers. So they're like, you know, Frogger
is a brand that people remember.
Yeah, like the more I thought about it after, I was like, I guess it kind of makes sense, like in the scheme of things. Exit the Dungeon's been getting good. You know, all I'm saying is the launch lineup of this service, I think, is better than the launch lineup of the PS4, Xbox One, or the Switch. Is what I'm saying. It's hard to compare, of course, because the PS4, Xbox, and Switch are all
AAA.
You know, they're consoles. They're whatever. But in a world where we have Stadia coming out in the future, which is once again a service. It's a service like Apple Arcade. I'm like, can we not start comparing these sorts of things? Like, because that's kind of, if that's the world we're moving towards, like a boxless future, not right around the corner, of course, because we're getting a box for the PS4, PS5, we're getting a box for the next Xbox, all these sorts of things. But that's kind of the world we're moving towards. It's kind of hard not to look at the Apple Arcade launch lineup. And I got to be honest, I've been fucking pumped. Like, when I woke up this morning, I was downloading all these games and trying some of them out, reading some people's general thoughts on, like, just opening Twitter and seeing people be like, Sayonara Wild Hearts is great, the Mutazone thing is great. Saw like John Bithell, what the fuck, Mike Bithell, like I think he was tweeting like even he was like, what the golf is great. Seeing all these people, whoever else, like big names to random people being like, this game's great, this game's fantastic. It actually kind of felt like a new console launch this morning somewhat. Like there was that many people talking about it and that many people tweeting about it that it felt really fucking good. I was downloading all these games. I was like, look at all these fucking, like, even if some of these are shit, and there's always shit games in a game, in a launch. Of a thing. But I'm like, even if the ones here I know that are getting well reviewed, well loved, even that fucking, you know that Metro game that you talked about once upon a time? That's got a fucking sequel on here. Metro, you know, the car one?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
That's got a fucking sequel on here that people, I didn't even realize was getting made. Fucking, my game
Metro Motorways, mini motorways.
Yes, that's it. And the first one was well loved and well reviewed. So and the sequel kind of just looks like more of the same, but kind of different. So I presume it's going to be the same sort of thing. My game of PAX 2018 didn't announce it was fucking releasing until I'm looking through the list of games that are available on Apple Arcade this morning, and I see that Fledgling Heroes, which was my favorite thing that I played at PAX last year, I still haven't played it because, as I said, I haven't had much time. I was at work, we're recording this. It's not a slide against game. I have it downloaded. I'm looking forward to trying it out, getting into it later. But Fledgling Heroes was my favorite game at PAX. That's now on here. All right, so my favorite game of PAX, I'm fucking enjoying Sayonara Wild Hearts, although I'm putting on the pause for a couple days until I can play it on a bigger screen. Mutual Zone, fucking this thing, I'm looking forward to trying out that RPG thing from the people that made Bravely Default and these sorts of things. Exit the Gungeon, fantastic. Cat Quest 2, great.
Cool.
There's just so many games in there. This fucking that really cool one. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, I was trying to find it there, but I couldn't. There's a really cool one on here where you have to it's a puzzler where you have to kind of drag colors through different colors to make them match up at the end. Kind of like a Zen-like kind of chill puzzle game, but it looks really beautiful and all these sorts of things. I think this is great. I think this is fucking Apple Arcade as far as I'm concerned. When they announced it, I was like, I wasn't negative. I was just like, we talked about it in the show. I was quite happy. I was definitely the most positive out of you and Shree on that initial episode we talked about. But even talking about it, I was never like, this is the future. I'm so glad that this exists. Apple Arcade gets my official seal approval. The fucking service launched fantastically. How you sign up is easy as fuck. How you download the games, easy as fuck. Download all the games on your phone. Off you go. Fucking download all your doing it. Fantastic. I'm really excited. I just feel like it's tops. If you don't have an iPhone, I've seen people on Twitter today be like, "Oh, I switched. I had an iPhone 2 years ago. I switched to Android 2 years ago, and this is the first time I wish I still had an Apple device." You're fucking right. You do. Fucking right. Right.
Yeah.
You tell me. You're not Apple.
You're selling me pretty good. I'm like, I'm thinking maybe I need to pick up an iPad.
Yeah, because I
seems like a useful thing.
I did see some people on Twitter today be like, I want in on Apple Arcade, which I've people replying and be like, don't get too crazy yet. It's only the first day. How do you know it will run well?
Yeah,
Apple's already put $1 billion trillion into this, and you're gonna. And
it's not going to run well.
Yeah, it's running well. All the games are launching, are looking great. I think as far as I'm concerned, the thing is a success. I'm calling it day one success. But yeah, I've seen people on Twitter be like, "What is the cheapest way I should go about if I want a device solely for Apple Arcade type stuff?" And people keep being like, "Just buy an iPad." It's hard because it's like. Even then, it's $300-$400 or whatever the cheapest one is. It's not super cheap, but at the same time, it's $300-$400 compared to obviously it's $1,000 laptop, fucking $1,000 thing. Yeah, I think the cheapest option would be an Apple TV, but you don't get all the games that way because any of the games some
stuff would be touch.
Yeah, touch stuff. Then you're locked out of it, obviously. So yeah, but yeah, honestly,
yeah.
What are
we'll see in a couple of months when. After the initial launch of all these games, what other games do they bring to the service? How are they curating? How are you being able to discover content that you haven't played yet, and that kind of thing that they were touting as a big part of the service.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I'm sure there'll be.
It's cool that it came out of the box strong, but we'll see how it's going. In.
Yeah, so
especially after this first month,
mm-hmm.
obviously where everybody's on a free trial. Are people going to stick around? Just numbers wise.
I think the price is low enough that people would be willing to just be like, "Oh, I'll keep it,"
Or they'll forget.
$7.99 is very I'm saying a game like Sayonara, let's just look at that one game, Sayonara Wild Hearts, which is probably the one I've seen talked about the most today. That once again, it is available on other things, but I find it hard to believe that most people playing this game at the moment won't play it on Apple devices simply because they get the free trial, which means they can play the game for free at the moment. If you have an Apple device, you can play Sayonara Wild Hearts for free. There's no reason to buy it, really, at the moment. You look at a game like that game, if it was on the Apple Store, it'd probably be $20, $30, $20, $30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
$7.99. You're done. You only need one game like that to discover a game like that, or for them to put up a game like that for it to be the price is done. And oh my God, I cannot tell you how good it is to have so many fucking games on my phone and not a single one of them is asking me to spend money or has ads or, loot box type shit happening. None of that. They're all just games. It's fucking amazing, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was. I don't know before today if there was 70 games that existed on the Apple Store that didn't have ads or microtransactions. I don't know if these are the only 70 that don't have all this stuff happening, but it's how it's working. And you could be like, but Dylan, what if in the future that changes? It's not. You can't just get your game on Apple Arcade. It's a fucking curation system. You know, Apple has to let you in the gate. I'm sure they have like a, a code of conduct. Well, not that wouldn't be the word for it.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm like? It's like your game has to tick these certain sort of
boxes or whatever.
boxes to criteria to be let on here. Yeah, the fucking another game by the people who made Monument Valley, that dev team, their latest game's on here.
Yeah,
I haven't even tried that yet. There's so many games that I want to play